Hey dudes, so when this movie came out, I never actually got around to bringing out a full review of it anyway, so this will serve as my review of Suicide Squad, as well as reviewing the extended cut and the Blu-ray and everything else. I'm just going to throw it into one long-ass video. It might even be that long, who knows. But Suicide Squad is a movie that personally I enjoy, and you can slate me for that if you want to, but I really dug Suicide Squad. So the plot, and people are very sort of, the plot that people are saying, it doesn't make sense that all these people get thrown in to take a supernatural enemy. It doesn't, but I understand why Amanda Waller picked these people. They're expendable. She can afford for them to die. If they die, it's no skin off her nose. She'll just get another group of prisoners. So that's the basic thing. Didn't like the fact that they did fight Enchantress. Yes, that did not make sense. They should have fought the Joker and his goons, and it should have been, you know, a Harley Quinn sort of, she sticks up for herself, and in the end, you know, she triumphs over the Joker. That would have been better than what we got. But for what we did get, I really, really enjoyed it. I thought the action was pretty cool. There are certain points in the movie where you're watching it and you're sort of like, this feels like a video game or a boss battle, and that kind of does drag on because you're like, I just want to be playing this shit. But overall, I mean, I thought the action was fine. It's funny when it needs to be funny. And it does things right that the other DC movies didn't. You know, the DC movies, Batman v Superman and Man of Steel, they tried too hard to be dark, and this one doesn't really try to be dark, and you would have thought this would be the darkest of them. But the villains really contrast well off each other because they're ridiculous. You know, they address Captain Boomerang's just got boomerangs, he's ridiculous. And, you know, it's a chick with a baseball bat, the Joker's girlfriend, it's stupid. But they address that, and I appreciate that. So what I really, really enjoy about this movie is just the way the characters do interact with each other, and the way that they really do feel naturally on screen a good sort of, you know, pairing. And that's what I say about the extended cut. It does play on that more. And what I am annoyed about is that this was clearly a money grab because the extended cut has full scenes in it that the movie didn't. And there was no reason to cut those scenes out. There was no reason. The movie flows so much better with them. So I appreciate there is an extended cut so I could see them. But what I don't appreciate is that I know why there's an extended cut now because you didn't need to cut any of that. But in terms of extended scenes, what we get a little more Joker, a lot more Harley. I think every single scene that is extended in this movie does revolve a bit around Harley. But when I said about the group dynamic, there are two really cool scenes that expand upon that. There's one when they first go out in Midway City and they're thinking of how they're going to escape and how they're going to get away from, you know, Rick Flag and everyone. And they're like coming up with a plan, an escape plan, and they just tell each other. And so Harley and Deadshot are talking, she tells Captain Boomerang, he goes and tells Killer Croc, but he tells Killer Croc something wrong and Killer Croc just like punches him in the face. It was a good way to set up this team and set up how they would act. And you know, Boomerang's all like to Diablo, you gotta throw a fireball, take him out, and he's like, ain't doing that, homie. And it's like, yeah, it really does show the personalities of each character. It shows that Diablo wants to be passive, and it shows that Boomerang's just a fucking asshole. And with Harley, there is another scene as well that does the same thing, where she's talking to each member of the team, and she's trying to, you know how she says, I'm known to be quite vexing, awful accent, but she says that, and she actually like does it to each member of the team at one point. And you're just like, you're feeling the frustration because she's so annoying at this point, but also you're like, that's what Harley Quinn would do, and I'm glad that they put that in. And the bar scene that everybody seems to love, it's really good in this one because they extend it. You know, in the trailer when you see them all drinking and Diablo's like saying that he wants water, and Harley Quinn's like, yeah, that's a good idea, honey. They had that in the movie, and it really did extend all that, and it made that flow smoother. Instead of just throwing us into the bar scene, have it happen, they actually have a reason for this scene happening. So I do appreciate the extended cut. Even though I know why it exists, I appreciate the fact that it does, because it does have some very good scenes in it. And the coolest, probably the coolest scene is the scene with the Joker and Harley Quinn. The Joker only gets like one or two more scenes. The scene where where he fries Harley Quinn's brain and he tortures her and makes her into what she is. That scene is a bit longer. It has a bit more explanation to it. He actually explains why he's doing what he's doing. He's like, you know, you fried my mind. You tried to change me. and she's like, I can take whatever you're gonna give to me, and it doesn't have that weird, it does have the weird cutting where it shows his face and he's doing all the weird growling, but it has more to it than that. It's not just a quick cut of her being tortured, it actually is like the entire scene. And there's also a scene where Harley's chasing Joker on her motorcycle and he's in his Joker-mobile, and you can see, and he's just like, oh, for fuck's sake. And she's chasing him, and he stops in front of this lorry, and they're just sort of arguing. And this guy gets out of the lorry, and he's saying to the Joker, he's like, hey, can't you just argue with your bitch somewhere else? And she pulls out a gun and just shoots him point blank in the head, and it's like, holy crap. And this is the scene that leads into that really cool chemical bath scene, where Harley Quinn, you know, jumps in and becomes what the Joker is, and her skin burns and everything. That's what leads into that, because the Joker obviously sees this and he's like, oh, holy crap, this girl's serious. And this is the point where he starts to tip and fall in love. And I know that it's an abusive relationship and everything, but this actually played upon the abusive relationship thing more than the film did, because you can tell, but you can tell that he's falling in love with her, and it's like, okay, it's not a good relationship, it's a toxic relationship, but you can see how it's starting to piece together, and I really liked that. That was one of my favourite scenes of the extended cut. The only other stuff we get really is from Killer Croc. You know, we get a bit more backstory, and there's this one scene where he just randomly pukes in a helicopter, and it's like, okay, fine. But, yeah, overall, the extended cut does have more scenes. It does make the movie flow better. It does make the movie better. It doesn't change the plot or anything. You've still got awful villains and everything like that, and I wish it was the Joker who was the main antagonist, but it doesn't really matter, because the film's enjoyable enough as it is, in my opinion. But this film and the extended Blu-ray do add a bit more to the experience of Suicide Squad. So you do get some cool special features as well. You can see right here, if you want to read those, some cool special features. The coolest one is the featurette on the Joker and Harley Quinn, because I heard about Jared Leto really throwing himself into the role, and I really enjoyed his performance in this, even though there wasn't much of him. But it really does show him throwing himself into the role of the Joker. There is a lot more. He does a lot. You know, and that's why I feel bad for him, the fact that most of his scenes got cut, because some of the stuff that he does in this featurette are ridiculous. You know, he's acting like the character on set. There's actually interviews with filmmakers, and they're like, yeah, I went to talk to him in this trailer, but I wasn't talking to Jared, I was talking to the Joker. And it's like, yeah, that is really cool. There was some concept art that was originally released for the Joker, and he has so many more tattoos, but they look more homemade, so they kind of look more organic and something he would apply to himself in Arkham. But what I'm saying is, Jared Leto, people that hate on Jared Leto for this role, just don't, because he did a good job. I mean, whether you love or hate this movie, it doesn't really matter to me. My opinion doesn't change. But whether you love or hate this movie, this extended cut will have more scenes and it will flow a bit better. So if you want to see a movie that flows slightly better, then check it out. If you didn't like the movie in cinemas, though, you're not going to like it now. But if you did enjoy it in the cinemas, you'll get a lot from this extended cut. You will enjoy it more, and you will enjoy the special features you get, the featurettes, and you know, all that stuff. So if you enjoyed this movie, I'd highly recommend picking up this Blu-ray. The only reason I got it is because I enjoyed the movie, and I was thinking, you know what, I'm going to treat myself. I got a lot of money from work this week. I'm going to get Suicide Squad, and I'm going to rewatch Suicide Squad. You know, like, Will Smith basically plays himself, Margot Robbie plays a crazy chick, and it's a film where Jai Courtney's good. He's good in this film. So, yeah, all those things mixed together just made it an enjoyable experience for me. I don't know about you guys, but if you enjoyed Suicide Squad, let me know, because I feel like I'm the only one at the moment, and stating that I like this movie on the internet's probably a bad idea because of the amount of backlash I'll be getting from it. But Suicide Squad, the extended cut. Pick it up if you enjoyed the movie. If you didn't, don't pick it up, because you'll probably be wasting your money. But I'm proud to say I enjoy this movie. So let me know what you guys think of the movie or the extended cut, or just both, and I'll see you guys very soon.